It's beefy, baby.
Hey.
My name is Luke Hodson.
Alex Morrison.
Hey.
You ready? I'm ready.
It's a movie podcast.
Hey.
Let's get it.
Hey.
Grease-soaked mess.
It's a movie podcast.
Hey. Rated PG-13. Hey.
Your mom didn't make that casserole.
Beef.
And there is something about a sweet, beefy intro to start your day, folks. Welcome to the 14th episode of the Bucket of Beef Show. My name is Alex Morrison.
My name is Luke Hodson.
You can tell I have a naturally deep, bass-filled voice.
Yeah, which is, we're doing this the second we woke up, so this is pretty much, ladies, this is what you look forward to if you wake up next to one of us.
Wow.
Yeah. You want some toast, some eggies.
Yeah,
Some
Alex
frickin'
eats
OJ.
eggs, toasts, and OJ every morning. 9:15 on the dot. That's why he's the pinnacle of health.
Welcome to the 14th episode. What are we starting with, man? Well, first of all, before we get into that, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm kind of running around doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, I've been busy doing some shorts, doing a showcase with a conservatory I went to about a year into the pandemic to sharpen my toolbox, and yeah, just focusing on that and some other things and trying to make little scraps of moolah as I go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as it goes. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I have a buddy flying in this week. I'm very excited to see him. Will, shout out to you, my friend.
Go,
I
Will.
can't wait to see you. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with me. I wanted to ask, I feel like we should have, just a little, not like a big thing, but we should have a question to, talk about at the beginning of these podcasts.
Ooh.
This is before we get, into it. So here's mine. Do you have any, weird work stories that you, your weirdest work story?
Weird work stories. Yeah, I've had a lot of weird shit happen. I'll do more of a kind of wholesome one, because most of my weird ones end up being turned into someone weird that comes into the store that I would talk to, and then they end up devolving into some weird horribly sexist or racist tirade, and then I'm like, okay, time to disengage and for you to leave. One of my first interesting experiences working with a company that I'm no longer with was when I was more fresh to the city. I think I was about 5 months in, and I worked at a luxury car dealership, and our policy was whoever comes into the store is welcome in the store. There's no need to be weird and gatekeepy about everything, because that's something that certain car companies and salespeople especially can tend to do, and they wanted to avoid that for a good reason. There was this there was about a week-long stretch where there was a homeless man that lived right by where the space was, and for about 15 to 20 minutes every day at 1 p.m. on the dot, he would come into the store, and he would sit in one of the cars, and he would pretend to drive it.
Oh.
And it was kind of wholesome.
That's kind of super cute.
He would put on the music a little quiet. Sometimes he would sometimes he would put it on really loud, and I would gently go up to him, and because if there were other people in the space, I'd be like, "Do you mind just turning it down just a little bit?" And he would put on his favorite radio station, and he would just sit in the car, and he would put his hands on the steering wheel, and he would just kind of pretend to drive around for about 10, 15 minutes, and then he'd leave and say thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
That's my little eclectic story.
Yeah. It's not even a weird story.
No,
Yeah,
I mean it's an unusual happening, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
bad shit.
Okay, cool. I guess when I have that, because I was like, oh, I should ask Luke about this, because this isn't a weird thing. It was a prank that was pulled on me that I feel is pulled on people often starting at new jobs.
Okay.
So and the place I work at, I have to go down to a storage room and get different types of liquors and like stock different things at the bar. So I go down into this basement, and it's also like a reserved kitchen for like the chefs and stuff. And I'm like announcing I'm going down to get something if anyone needs anything. And one of the chefs is like, "Hey, someone's sleeping in there right now." It was pretty late at night, and he was like, "Someone's sleeping in there. Leave the lights off." And I was like, "Okay." And I had to find like 3 or 4 like separate things. So I go down there and I just have my phone light, and I'm like cupping my camera, so it's like not leaving like a beam of light, and I'm like looking around. And I'm down there for like 20 minutes trying to find shit because I can't find literally anything. It is pitch black. And I'm like trying to be as quiet as I can, but after a while I like can't hear anything. Like no person breathing. Because I believe that there was someone down there.
Who did you think it was?
One of the chefs or whatever.
Oh,
like
okay.
I didn't know. I didn't realize. I mean, I didn't know if people were like down there having to like prep stuff like hella late. You know what I mean? But eventually I turned on the lights and there was no one there.
That's a cute prank.
Yeah.
I like that.
But and then I went upstairs though, and one of my managers was like, "What? You took so long?" And I'm like, "I thought there was someone sleeping." And they were like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Yeah, that's like a
cute.
funny little work story.
That's cute. I have another question for you, Alex.
Okay.
What's your favorite day of the week?
My favorite day of the week
Yeah, if you had to pick one.
has to be Sundays.
Sundays.
Yeah. I think as I'm getting older, I like Sundays more. I wish I had more access to, like, restful Sundays.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the concept of Sunday is my favorite.
Yeah, just like a recharge day to take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of the idea of, like, making breakfast and playing, like, my 70s, like, you know, R&B music.
Yeah, you like kind of chilling out, hanging out with your friends on a Sunday.
Yeah.
What if you, say, for example, had nothing to do on a Friday?
Then I guess that's my new Sunday. I just got to classify it as Sunday. Any day can be a Sunday if you let it.
That's true.
You know.
That's
what about
fair.
you? What's your favorite day of the week?
My favorite day of the week? I think it's probably Saturday. Start to the weekend.
You're gonna party
Get some
hard on
plans going.
Saturdays?
Party hard. Watch some movies. It's all good.
This feels very
good.
opposite of our characters, I feel.
I know.
I love
Well,
it.
I don't necessarily mandate partying on a Saturday. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like an every now and then occurrence for me.
I see.
Yeah.
And for me, it's 3-4 days a week.
3-4 days a week. You think you go that hard?
Gotta go hard.
Mm.
Work hard, play hard.
I see. There you go.
And I work hard.
There you go. What do you think Ice Cube's favorite day of the week is?
Oh, man. We know, friends of the Bucket of Beef show, that it is indeed Friday, which is our first movie on the show today. Luke? This was your first time seeing
This was
Friday.
my first ever time seeing Friday.
This
I knew about Friday. Obviously, it's a, kind of a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
But like probably one of like the kings of the Hangout movie.
Yeah.
I'd say. I also didn't realize that like the 2 key memes from internet culture came from Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Bye Felicia. You got Damn.
Yeah. Damn, you got
Damn. Yeah.
And that one, yeah. There are 2 dams.
Yeah, there are 2 dams.
Yeah.
They do build in a musical way, I would say.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a lot of heart to them, for sure. When did you first see Friday?
I have never seen Friday all the way
Oh,
through.
you'd never seen Friday all the way through.
I've seen it in very large chunks. Like I could put it together,
Yeah.
But pretty much, yeah, I haven't seen the movie all the way through ever in my life.
Yeah.
Which is shameful of me.
Yeah.
personally.
Crazy.
So yeah. Tell me your thoughts about Friday. Oh no,
should we give a synopsis? Would you mind doing a synopsis on Friday?
Yeah, I don't mind. So Craig is just a dude who lost his job. He wakes up on Friday morning and basically is like, after today, it's never gonna be the same. And him and his friend Smokey get into all kinds of shenanigans where they might lose their life at the end of Friday night. And they have to get the money to pay... who is it? Which one is it?
To pay Ice
to pay
Cream Man.
Big Worm, Ice Cream Man. Will they get the money in time? Will they smoke so much weed they green out? Is that a thing? Greening out? Yeah. Will they use their hands or just use a gun? Yeah.
Are they true men?
Yeah. Okay, all right. So, what are your initial thoughts on this movie?
Initial thoughts? I thought this was a very fun movie. I mean, I haven't sat down and watched like a hangout movie for a minute.
Okay.
So like the first 30 to 40 minutes, I was like, where is this going?
you're
Like, where's
nothing's
this
really
leading?
happening?
Because it's kind of like it's a hangout movie. What I do like a lot about this movie is like the regularity in which they just continue to introduce new characters, like new members of this neighborhood.
Everyone rides a bike and strolls up, or like is in a car and
Yeah.
strolls up every couple.
Everyone's
of minutes.
just hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
And you never quite know if someone's going to be like a normal person or like an over-exaggerated like
archetype almost.
archetype of the hood, basically.
Yeah.
You know? It kind of, in some ways, it kind of gives me... They feel very different, but in terms of how like exaggerated certain characters are, it sort of gave me like Everybody Hates Chris vibes, just in terms of like some exaggerated like stereotypes.
Yeah,
and
we were
things
talking
like
about that yesterday.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's like a fun movie. Did you have a favorite character?
Did I? That's a good
Yeah.
question. The dad. The dad.
I think
Willie
the dad
Jones.
might be my favorite character too.
Yeah. He's just he's an archetype for sure, but like he definitely like teaches a lesson. And he takes a fat poop and tells his son to come into the bathroom, which
Yeah.
is so strange. But yeah, I like the dad the most. And
Yeah,
you're
the
going
dad's
with the dad
great.
too.
Yeah, I think the dad's great. I think my honorable mention is honestly Debo. I think Debo's like such a funny character because he's like this big tough dude, but he's like a total loser. Like he only rides a bike. Like,
Yeah.
If he just like wasn't like big and strong, he would be just like who is the guy that is like always trying to do little hustles for $2, like wash people's cars.
I don't think he has a. It's showing he doesn't have like a name, but it is F. Gary Gray.
F. Gary Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just says black man at store.
I feel like Debo would be like him if he just wasn't a big, strong, tough man. You know?
Oh no, it's this guy, right?
Easel?
Easel.
That sounds correct. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
If we're getting it totally wrong.
We might
on
be.
this one. It's a little sleepy hours right now.
It is
for
very
us,
sleepy
you know?
hours right now. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of Ice Cube in this movie?
Okay, yeah, that's going to be a big point of debate. I don't even think it's going to be a debate. I think, listen, we know Ice Cube and DJ Pooh like wrote this. This is their like baby for the most part. Ice Cube did his best. I also think he pales comparatively to Chris Tucker.
Yeah, and that's also just like a matter of how the characters are too.
Yeah,
You know? But I think it is, especially, I warmed up to Ice Cube's performance, like, about halfway through the movie. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, sometimes there wouldn't be a lot of listening, and then it'd be like a, ha.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
did
very,
not
there
really
are
listen,
some
like-
people that are like that in real life, so.
There are, but I mean, like, I don't know. He's the stagnant character, and there's like the strong archetypes all around him. You know, so like, I don't know. Personally, if I'm just being very honest, I was not a fan of Ice Cube in this.
I get you. And the characters also just kind of like it seems like they sort of use the character as like a vehicle to like experience all these other more interesting characters throughout this. Mm-hmm. And like you don't necessarily know like what he actually wants out of anything. He doesn't have like a ton of action to do until like about the last like 30 minutes of the movie, I would say.
That's when he does a good job. Is like the
yeah,
last
is when the character like has
ramps up
something
and
that
has
has
stakes.
to, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Before it's just kind of like, you know, vibing on a stoop, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was also so weird, like the weed stuff is so weird. Like he was like really like hallucinating. Like,
Yeah,
when he opens
dude, he
his
got
cupboard and
high as
stuff, and
hell.
I'm like, this is so I don't know. I just
My
think,
man did an acid trip that came back to him.
yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
that weed was something else. That shit was
Shrooms
laced.
or-
That was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Listen, Smokey's got it. I love that Smokey's just like a total weed fiend. And like, first off, Big Worm took a big L trusting in Smokey.
I don't know why.
I don't know why
that.
he would trust.
Clearly, Smokey
like-
is just that person.
Like, I feel like that type of dude that did that and then like threatens to kill the dude. I feel like he just wanted to kill Smokey the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, I just want an excuse. You know?
Yeah.
Like, give me a reason, motherfucker. Like, I want to fucking kill you. Just cuz.
He's like, you're going to die. And Smokey smokes all of Big Worm's weed, and basically Big Worm just wants his money back, and that's kind of where the story goes toward the end, right?
Yeah, they need $200.
Yeah, and then it's the fight with Debo.
Yeah, those are the two big moments, basically. I like how like casually everyone's like stealing from each other. Like when they go into the dorky neighbors, the
Yeah, they steal money
feed
from
up
him.
the grass. They like
Yeah.
steal the money from him, and they're just breaking a ton of shit like in the house. And
Yeah.
then he comes out and he's like, "I told you guys not to step on my grass."
And they're like, okay.
Yeah, has no idea his shit got swiped.
Yeah. Also, Red's bike, which is the most exciting. It's like the most cathartic feeling for me is when Red gets his bike back. from
Yeah,
Debo.
yeah. I love Debo's huge uppercut in the first act. That's like one of the first, like, oh damn, this is it's fun. Yeah,
Yeah. So we actually have a lot of like big faces in this, and I don't know if this
do.
is true, but I'm looking now that Megan Good plays a kid, which I presume
What?
is outside the ice cream truck. I'm gonna,
yeah,
Presume
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
which is so wild though, because I don't know. I think that's so cool.
No, that is crazy.
But like, especially like Regina King being the sister of Craig in this,
Yeah,
was wild to see.
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
knowing now, like, because I've seen a lot of Regina King content,
no, for sure.
and like that's so neat. Just everyone is a rock star in this. And
Yeah.
this it feels like it truly feels like their first bout, and just seeing where they all go.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's like a cool sort of jump start or like early stages of a lot of really successful careers.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see like Ice Cube looked so young
Yeah.
in this. I'm like, damn, Ice Cube's like, because Ice Cube's just such like a cultural like icon that he sort of seems like ageless almost.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see like
And this had to have been fresh
They actually
off
look
of
like-
NWA,
yeah, they made
Or
this
like-
they made this in 95.
Yeah.
So it's definitely around there for sure.
which is just nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I'm also going to give another honorable mention for a character to Bernie Mac.
the
In
Mac,
this, I love Pastor, what is it?
the myth,
Pastor
the man,
Cleaver.
the Mac.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I love it. He's
Any
great.
little characters.
yeah,
like,
all
he's
the
just
all the
so
bit
good.
characters in this especially are really good.
But like Bernie Mac specifically, and like he just has like a super small role. Honestly,
Yeah.
he really only has like one scene.
Yeah, like 2-3 scenes maybe.
maybe.
Yeah.
yeah. But he is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think he plays like not a similar character, but it reminded me of Transformers, the first one.
Yeah,
he plays
yeah.
the car dealer.
Yeah.
But like, man, just the charisma on that man.
Are you saying that certain pastors are as shady as used car salesmen?
I'm saying yes, there are some. I will not shy away.
I think
from
I'd
that
agree
fact.
with that too.
Yeah, it's okay. There's some bad people in everything you do.
Yeah, you know,
You know?
that's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's how it goes. One thing that I did relate to a lot in this film is at the beginning when Ice Cube is getting all that fucking cereal, and he goes to get the milk and he pours it in, and there's like no milk.
Dude,
and he's like, "Fuck! I got to throw all the cereal away," because I lived that, except worse. When I was 8 years old,
Worse.
one time I like woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, "I'm gonna eat cereal." Like it's cereal time. And I got fucking like Honey Nut Oats, and I put it in a big ass bowl. I like poured all of the Honey Nut Oats in the big bowl. I grabbed our milk. I poured it in. Like we had a bunch of milk. I poured it in. I took a bite. The milk was soured.
Ooh,
It was soured.
No.
And like I left it out. Like I wanted to throw it away, but I was like, my mom and dad are gonna be fucking pissed that I use all of the cereal. And I got a talking to in the morning.
Aw,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The funny,
It was a very gentle talking to. I had
good.
very nurturing folks.
Good.
Yeah.
They were like, you gotta watch those honey nuts.
You got to smell that, my
lad.
guy.
What are you doing?
Yeah, come on. I wanted to eat cereal too.
You gotta think of the collective.
I was the one that bought the cereal. Who do you think actually wanted it? You know?
The funny thing, this is the thing about Ice Cube's acting training. It really came out during this milk thing, okay?
Okay.
Because he like puts the cereal in the bowl. It's a long shot, I think.
Yeah.
And
It's probably one of the longer takes that they...
Yeah.
One of the longer moving takes that they have.
yeah,
You know?
So he pours the milk out, and there's like a drop, and he makes a face. He's like, "What?" And he shakes it. Is his second action. He shakes it as a second action, like there's more in it that he just can't see.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he taps the top of it, like he's gonna smack some more out of it. And I was like, brilliant. This is beautiful
He's
work.
just sleepy. You know, his brain isn't totally working yet. I love how his mom makes, like, a fucking awesome spread for herself, like, fucking eggs and toast and pork chops.
Yeah,
for
man.
breakfast on a Friday. Talk about a good-ass Friday morning meal.
That's
Like,
awesome.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
So we kind of have to come back around to the lesson that Craig learns, because he's seen a few times he has a gun. He live in a neighborhood that
Yeah,
his parents don't realize they're kind of shady, but he's like you got to stay ready, you got to stay protected.
Yeah, because they, like, it's kind of implied that they, like, moved him and his sister to a better neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where they don't have to worry about that kind of shit as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the threat of Debo. Well, and why does Debo want to fight him again?
So Debo, that kind of like comes out at the end. So basically, the for those of you that aren't familiar with this film, the main conflict in here is that Smokey owes Big Worm $200.
Right. Okay. I
What
remember.
happens is, since we're on the theme of breaking into people's houses and trying to steal shit from people, when Smokey and Debo go into Grassman's house, the guy that doesn't want them to step on the grass, to steal some stuff. They get $200. Debo keeps it for himself. And Smokey's like, fuck, man, that sucks. And then Ice Cube, Craig, goes to steal money from Debo. Because they know that they need the $200, and they know that Debo has $200.
No, Smokey goes in.
Oh, Smokey goes in.
Smokey goes
yeah,
in.
you're right. Smokey goes in.
And he comes out and he's like, well, and then they see Debo riding down the street.
And Debo's with Craig's new love interest's sister.
Yeah, and the sister gets like hit and has a black eye.
Because Debo thinks that she stole his shit.
Yeah, and then Craig's love interest gets in his face and is like, I'm not afraid of you. You suck. Like you're lucky I'm not a man or whatever. And then he smacks the shit out of her.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, he does.
And that's when Craig kind of gets in there. But the reason that Craig has that conversation with his dad of you're a man if you use your hands, is like because he's worried that Big Worm is going to show up at 10 o'clock. So he wants to be ready.
And
So
Big
that's
Worm
what-
does show up.
Yeah.
Big Worm brings out the big guns.
He doesn't show up. He sends people.
Big Worm, I feel like Big Worm's guys like spent as much money on ammunition as what Smokey owed them. Like they lit up the block for $200.
Yeah. Can I tell you a story real quick?
Yeah.
You're going to love this. Well, I mean, I may have told you this. I've definitely told you this. But Friday, I think, inadvertently saved my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Why's that?
I was with my best friend growing up and his sister, and I was like 16, 17, and his sister drove us to a corner market. This is back in Michigan. And we were like waiting in the car. She's going inside to get something, and this guy like looks at her and is like, he starts like saying,
I think you told me about this. Yeah.
And my buddy, he was like my best friend, my brother, basically growing up, and he like looks out the window and is like, hey man, don't look at my sister like that, and like starts getting like really huffy and puffy. And the guy is like, shut up, make me stop. And my friend gets out of the car, and I was like, fuck, I gotta get out of the car now too.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to, and like I go and loop around the car, and my friend is standing still, and I see this guy has a gun pointed at him, and then points it at me, and there's like a gun in our faces. And the way that he went about it, and I was so certain we were going to die because he said it was dead silent for maybe 10 seconds. The guy was so smug, and then my friend goes, You're a real man if you use your hands, punk ass bitch. Like, he starts like talking shit because he's not using his hands to fight.
Damn.
Like, and he's like yelling at this guy. I am certain. I'm like, I'm about to get dropped. I'm about to get dropped right here, right now, outside of a tiny little cornered market. I was so pissed. I was so mad. And my friend is just going. And eventually the guy like is like thinking about it, and he puts the gun down and just walks away and gets in the car. He's like, "You're lucky." And gets in the car and drives off. So I think Friday. I think my friend watched Friday and took it from Friday.
He had the voice. He had the voice of John Witherspoon in his head.
But that's just wild, man. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that shit's nuts. People doing crazy shit for nothing, man.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Do you have those hands, Luke? Do you think you can?
Do I have those hands?
Do you think you can spat if you need to spat?
I think I'd be all right.
Yeah.
I got into like a few like minor spats when I was in high school.
Yeah.
That like ended fairly quickly. I don't like to fight people.
No.
I don't like to fight people. I can be scrappy. Basically every time that anything had ever happened, which was very limited in my experience, it's like a swing, a dodge, and like a push against a wall for my end.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm like, chill the fuck out. You know?
Yeah.
So I would never say that I've gotten into like an actual like fight.
You're an equalizer.
I feel like I'm generally pretty good at like
like,
at
hey,
minimizing conflict.
halt.
Halt! Stop! Hall monitor! I was a hall monitor, actually. No, I was never a hall monitor.
Okay.
I never stooped so low. I wasn't fucking narking on
I was
people.
about to say, you're a fucking narc.
I wasn't
dude.
one of those narcs that fucking ratted on people vaping in the bathroom. That ever happened when you were in high school? Did people get busted for vaping in the bathroom all the time?
Oh, dude, yeah.
It happened constantly in my school.
Dude, I'll never forget my first day of high school. Some dude like had like a weed pen, and it was like the first day of high school.
Yeah.
And we were in the computer lab, and they were trying to teach us like our set-in to like do homework and shit. And he hit it, and like he coughed, and there was a big cloud, and he threw it out the window, and all of us were like,
He threw it out the window.
And the teacher just stared, and he was like acting like nothing happened, but it very clearly smelled like weed, and there was a cloud within the first 20 minutes of school.
That's really like you're playing an RPG, like, and you have to make a choice, and the meter's going down. Like, really, you really panic pressed on that one.
No, and I think a teacher like went outside and got it, and then he got in trouble.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't imagine, man.
Man, imagine like being like, I'm gonna search the grass for this child's weed pen. You know?
God,
I feel like I would have let that shit go. I'd be like,
you can't let that shit go.
Listen, the kid's gonna if it fucks up the kid, like, I don't know, like he's gonna fail the class.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
that's his punishment.
That's
you know?
crazy, man. Okay,
I mean, obviously can't be smoking in class.
yeah,
I'm not condoning that. I'm not condoning that. You shouldn't You shouldn't toke up at 7:30 a.m.
Listen, all I'm saying
in your
is,
computer
and like I
class.
said, I'm not a narc, but if I'm in that situation, you gotta set an example. That's the first day
true.
as a 14-year-old.
Oh,
in
he was
high
14?
School. Yeah, it was the first day of high school.
I'm thinking this is like like first day senior.
No,
like,
this is
doing dumb
it,
shit.
Man. Yeah, no, this
know?
is yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe you grab it and give a talking to the kid.
Yeah,
for sure, for sure. I don't work in education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, back to Friday.
Back to Friday, baby.
What are some of your lasting thoughts of Friday?
Some of my lasting thoughts on Friday. Don't smoke your don't smoke all of your boss's weed. If you have to say, be a responsible employee. You know?
Yeah.
Take some pride in your work.
Absolutely.
You know?
Use your hands.
Use your hands. Exactly. One thing that I did find very funny is when Craig and Debo were fighting at the end. Debo has that huge ass knife, and he like puts it away so they can like actually square up, you know. And they're fighting, and like eventually Debo, you know, like Craig's getting some good hits in, but Debo is just like too strong. Like Debo's got that reach, he's got that power, he's got he's got more endurance, you know.
Yeah.
It seems at least. and like Craig's on the ropes, and I think does like Debo like hit his junk or something at one point,
Probably.
and
yeah.
like and Craig's dad's like, he's fighting dirty, but meanwhile, like, Ice Cube's been hitting this man with 2x4s. Like, after he
Trash
says he's
lids.
been fighting dirty, man picks up a brick from the
Yeah, he picks up a
throws
brick.
and like beams it right at Craig's face, and then like follows up. He like hits him with the trash cans. It's like Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's
dude.
like no holds barred. You know,
That's so
they're
funny.
going hard with it.
Yeah. This, it's goofy. It goes to so many different places. I think as much as we could talk about Ice Cube, at the end of the day, this is a classic, and also, like, that performance lends itself to the film as a whole, and, like, especially with how much it picks up at the end. There's, like, a whole drive-by, and the neighborhood is getting lit up.
I like how the neighborhood's getting lit up, and then like 10 minutes later, like the parents come out and they're like super sleepy, and they're like, "What's going on?" Like, you know what is fucking happening.
There are, like, 5
it's literally-
AKs going
It's
off.
literally a war. It's not like pop pop pop. It's like pop 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 pop. Like
Yeah.
for fucking like 2 minutes.
It's crazy.
You know, like you would be much more afraid than like sleepy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, why is everyone
Yeah,
outside?
everyone wants to come outside.
Everybody in the movie is outside.
No, you go to bed.
Yeah.
You go to bed when that happens.
Yeah. So yeah, it's so much fun, and it is just a classic hangout movie. I'm glad I got to watch it. What's your rating?
My rating on Friday, I'll give Friday. I think I'll give it like a 7.7.
Okay.
I'll give it a 7.7.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It honestly wasn't. It's not my like favorite film, but I'm also not a huge fan of like hangout movies
I'm not either.
necessarily.
Yeah.
So it's just like, just one of those things. I did enjoy it though. They had a lot of my favorite thing about it was the characters that they had in it. I thought they had a lot of fun. It seemed like it was a shoot where everyone that was working on it had a lot of fun making it, and I
Yeah.
think that really showed through.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. I mean, even you just said as far as hangout movies go, like, not the biggest fan, but I enjoyed this one enough. And my experience with that is like, dude, where's my car?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that sort
I
of
honestly
thing.
haven't really watched a lot of hangout movies. Like, I've never really watched a lot of the Harold and Kumar movies. I haven't seen like
Yeah.
Dude, Where's My Car?
Well, the Harold and Kumar movies, like, those go.
They're a little
to
more than hangout
crazy
movies.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna give this like a 6.8.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair score, and it has rewatchability. Like, I'd watch this again with especially with people who haven't seen it. I feel like it's important for the culture for to see Friday.
And it's cool to see so many like staples in entertainment like early on in their career.
Yeah.
It like mixed in with like other staples like more like seasoned popular actors of that time of like
Yeah,
95.
for sure.
You know, it's cool to see that kind of like a passing of the torch to like the newer generation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like how much the people who came up in Friday have done so much
Yeah,
for
so
entertainment.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just been like a vessel for other people of color to like come in and, do artistically like crazy historical things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's your beef score on that?
Beef score? Oh God. I'm gonna put some beef franks on the grill and chill with my homies.
Yeah, it does give definitely like cookout vibes for sure.
Cookout vibes,
For
yeah.
sure. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go in a slightly different direction.
Okay.
I'm gonna do like I don't know what number this is, but I'll do like a number 5 on like the Checkers burger menu.
Okay.
It's like you get like a Dr. Pepper, you get like
Don't talk about Dr.
like
Pepper.
like a double quarter pounder, double cheese.
Mm.
Get some grilled onions on there.
Yeah.
a little bit of bacon,
That sounds nice.
and then like a large fry, like curly fries though.
Yes.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I think that's it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, guys, that's Friday. We'll see you after the commercial break, and we'll talk about Juno.
Juno.
Here we go.
In 3, 2, 1.
Commercial break.
Commercial break.
All right, man.
Who do you want to be sponsored by today? I'm passing it on to you
You're
because
passing
I can
it
tell
on
you
to
wanted to pass it on to me.
I did.
Yep.
Wow, you caught me so fast.
I haven't been thinking about it.
I haven't.
Oh,
either.
I have
Yeah.
mine.
Oh.
I have mine.
Well, this is.
I have a love-hate relationship with matches. I think some matches are just really bad quality. They break too easily. They don't light properly. They light and then they immediately go out. I want a nice quality match. We'll call them Lasto match. Lasto match. I want to be sponsored by a company called Lasto Match that has reliable, long-lasting matches.
Lovely.
Yep.
Very cool. I would like to be sponsored by a random sticker company
Ooh.
because, gang, with our Patreon subscribers and their help, we got some stickers that we're going to be putting all over Brooklyn. They're going to be all up in your face. And they're way smaller than I thought they were.
They are quite small. Have you gotten them yet?
They should be here like today or tomorrow.
Ooh.
But they're literally, I would love for them to have been like 2 inches by 4 inches. But they're 2 inches by 1 inch or 1 inch by 2 inches.
Yeah, it's a little small. They got a QR code on them though, so they're real next level.
They're next level.
Next level tech.
Go straight to our link tree.
Gonna have holograms next time.
Yeah. We're gonna have holograms, bigger stickers, bigger budget in general.
Yeah, you know.
And I want to have like a, okay. So I brought that up. Stickers. Now I want to be sponsored by those big flags that fly behind like planes.
Oh yeah, like the sign planes.
Yeah, on like biplanes or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Always
And I
over
wanna
water.
And
Never
I always
over
wanna
land.
I want to be able to put whatever I want on it. I can be like, today's Alex's Sunday. Leave him alone. Or like, Luke needs milk for his cereal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that'd be good.
Yeah.
You just put your Cash App on the plane.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
I think that'd be fun.
It's like this plane didn't pay for itself. Reimburse me. At Bucket of Beef Show Cash App.
Yes. Does the Bucket of Beef Show have a Cash App? I don't think so.
No.
We're not gonna do that.
We need to get a baddie that's part of the team, and like every Thursday she's like, need cash for the weekend, Cash App and bio.
And it just goes to the podcast.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
That's cheating. I'm under the impression that we should do a calendar. We should do
a sexy calendar.
Yeah, with like movies that we've watched, but it's just us doing like sexy oily poses.
Oh man.
Like we do Scooby-Doo.
Ooh.
But I'm wearing like a collar.
Oh.
And have like the Spooky Island head on my junk.
We could do like a mix, like we could be like Ghostface and Scooby-Doo. Like, I could be Scooby-Doo instead. I can be on my hands and knees with the collar, leash, you're Ghostface.
Okay, Ghostface.
Yeah. Taking me to the park. Taking me to Spooky Island Park.
And I'm basically wearing like a cut-off hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a thong.
And I'm wearing nothing at all.
Okay. We good on sponsors?
Yeah, we're good for sponsors.
All right. We're heading back.
In 3, 2, 1. Back to the podcast.
Back to the podcast.
Back to
Oh,
the
yeah.
podcast. All right. Our next film is a film that made me weep. I have not weeped at a film in quite some time.
I was so shocked.
I think
I'm crying.
I think the last movie I cried at was the first time I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. When Waymond is like giving his "we have to be kind to each other" speech.
Yeah,
I think that was the last time I wept.
This was a surprising movie.
Juno is really good.
Yeah.
We had never seen Juno. I knew about Juno. I didn't know a ton about it. I just know that it's about this girl who gets pregnant in high school, and she has to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
This movie stars a lot of really great actors. Yeah, we've picked movies that have like really like star-studded casts.
Yeah.
In this,
almost accidentally.
Yeah.
Like it's like not even. We don't even think about it.
Yeah,
It's
we've
like,
got
is
we've got Rainn Wilson for one scene. We got J.K. Simmons as the dad. We got Olivia Thirlby. We got Jason Bateman. We got Jennifer Garner, who gives, honestly, I think one of my favorite performances that I've seen from her.
Yeah.
We've got Michael Cera, and we have the wonderful Elliot Page.
Yes.
In this too. Elliot Page is also wonderful in this movie, like exceptionally good. I'll give the synopsis for Juno.
Okay.
So basically, Juno is about this. I'm assuming that she's probably a junior in high school. At the beginning of the film, it's revealed to the audience that Juno is pregnant with Polly Bleeker's child. they're two friends. They used to be in a band together. Juno is kind of like sort of an outsider, like pseudo loser character, and Polly is a track athlete for the high school. So Juno is deciding what she wants to do with the baby. She eventually decides that she wants to give it up for adoption, and thus we begin our story with her dealing with her teen pregnancy and this sort of budding relationship that she is having between herself and the family that is going to be adopting the baby.
Yeah. This was like when we were looking at like the HUD on HBO, I thought it would be way more of a comedy. And it has its moments, but it's
a pretty funny movie.
It's like funny at times, but it's more of like sarcasm.
Yeah,
the umbrella of sarcasm.
Yeah, the thing that's funny, I think what's funny about this movie is the way that the characters communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Rather than like them going out of their way to create jokes, because the content is always like pretty serious. And it's really just the way that these characters like face their struggles that makes the movie funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's pretty awesome. Juno is a very interesting character. Especially in the first like 2/3 of the movie, I was kind of going back and forth of whether I liked Juno as a person.
Yeah,
or
you were
not.
like, I think Juno's an asshole.
Juno is kind of an asshole, especially in the beginning. Like when she first meets Vanessa and Mark, the adoptive couple for her baby. She's like kind of the worst.
Yeah.
Like she's really not like. I mean, she's also 16, you know. Yeah. But she's like, there's just a lot of like emotional and social immaturity and like a lack of empathy. I think, especially in the way that she communicates a lot of things with Vanessa, this woman that so desperately wants a child.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, yikes.
She's just very much not like emotionally attached to most things until there's like a point, like there's like a breaking point, obviously, which we'll get into. But I mean, even when she gets the diagnosis, like that she's pregnant, it's like it's not the craziest deal. And even when she decides to keep it, it's not the craziest deal. When she tells her parents, it's kind of like, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and I really like the relationship between Mac and Brenda, the father and stepmother of Juno. Super good. I loved. I really like J.K. Simmons, obviously. I thought he did wonderfully in this, but I really loved probably my second favorite character in this is Allison Janney's Brenda.
Yes.
She's so good. She's like so nurturing. She's snarky. Like she's like the perfect stepmother to Juno.
Yeah.
You know, she's like exactly what Juno needs.
100%.
Like in this situation.
I pulled up my favorite line from this.
Yeah, what is it?
Because I was like, it's like right when they're getting to the hospital, when Juno is like her water broke. And she goes, well, honey, doctors are sadists who like to play God and watch lesser people scream.
Yeah.
Like, that is the best line.
And that's really, like, indicative of just how the dialogue is throughout a lot of this movie. Like, people just speak in such a... It's so cool because you have... You watch certain movies and, like, some people don't talk like people. Mm-hmm. But this movie does such a good job of, like, having its characters say weird shit, but it works perfectly because that's just the world that they exist in. Yeah. And it's just how they operate.
I mean, the first line, I think, from what I remember, Rainn Wilson, like, he has one scene, and the first thing he says is, what's the prognosis, Fertile Myrtle?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so...
And you get, like, talk about, like, a mood setter.
Yeah.
Like, just, that's a vibe check.
It is a vibe check, yeah.
And it's so good. And I love the opening to this, like when they have like the sort of sketch cartoony version of Juno like walking throughout everything. Mm-hmm. And then it transitions to like her in real life, in the real world. Really cool. Yeah. Did you have any favorite moments from this movie at all?
I mean, I had a ton of favorite moments.
Yeah. It's hard to pick.
It really is. It really is.
Did you have a favorite? I'll give like favorite like comedic moment and favorite like serious moment.
Okay.
And it can be a mixed bag because there are some very serious scenes that are funny.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I think my favorite serious moment, or like a beautiful moment, is when Juno runs into Vanessa at the mall,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh yeah, everyone feels my belly, and all this stuff," and she's like, "Oh, she's not kicking, or the baby's not kicking
Not
for
kicking
me."
for me. Yeah.
And that was a moment for you where you were like, "Fuck, I really love Jennifer Garner's performance."
She's so, like, the way that she just inhabits this like primal longing
yeah,
for having a child, and how it's just like all consuming and just like so crucially important to her is so good. And you see it like the moment that you see her on screen.
yeah,
Like the moment that you're introduced to Vanessa, you're like, wow, like she needs to be a mom.
yeah,
Like she wants it so bad, and she's like clearly willing to put in all of the work
100%
for it, you know? Yeah, she's so good in this movie.
And if I think as far as comedic moments, I the part that made me laugh is Brenda's line, the sadist line.
Yeah.
Like that was,
Brenda has a lot of good ones.
yeah. What about you? Your favorite serious moment?
My
Your
favorite,
moment?
I feel like I kind of have two. My runner-up is the conversation that Paulie and Juno have when Juno confronts him about taking this other girl to the prom. Mm-hmm. And like Juno basically sets it up. She's like, "Why don't you hang out with this person?" You know, because she's trying to be like emotionally avoidant with Paulie.
Yeah.
And she's like going into him, and Paulie's just like, so he handles it with so much grace, and he's like, why are you doing this? Like this is like silly. Like I care about you a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like you're the one that broke my heart. You know, and it could be something that's like in a lesser teen movie, it could have just been like sad boy, sad girl yelling match. Mm-hmm. But they like really are. Especially Paulie in that moment is like really there for her, you know, and is like the maturity that it's handled with and like the seriousness is so good. My top one though is when Juno gets stuck at the Longs or the Loring house, the house of Vanessa and Mark, after Mark has revealed to Juno that he's gonna get a divorce from Vanessa.
Yeah.
And then Vanessa gets there.
Yeah.
And they're like in the middle of it, and Juno's kind of stuck there. Yeah. Eventually leaves. Like that moment, like when she's driving back and she pulls off the highway and she's just like breaking down, is just like so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, this 16-year-old girl's world is like a mess.
It's collapsing.
It's like almost as bad as it could be.
Yeah.
Like right now. And it was just so good. And one thing that I was cautious about when we first started watching the movie is how aloof Juno was at the beginning. And I was like, how is this going to carry throughout? Like I couldn't tell if it was a limiting choice that Elliot Page made with that character that was going to lessen like the weight throughout the film.
Well, yeah,
but it made it stronger, I think.
There is one specific line that kind of brought it home for me in terms of that, and it's like when she's talking to J.K. Simmons and is like, and it ends. It really is the theme of the entire movie, which is like, I need to know that love can last. How do you make that happen? And like that, I don't even know what to call it. That cynicism, that she has. Just, you know, in all of her relationships, that avoidance is like because of that. That's the wall for her.
Yeah.
Is that she doesn't believe that love can last. And then she has this moment with like this baby, and it's like, you know, she is being surrounded by love, these people all around her, and then it all crumbles, you know? And I think that is just like, that's the beautiful part of this movie. Is like, yes, it can. Or even if it's not, there are fleeting moments. You gotta take those fleeting moments.
And like the whole thing with like when Mac Juno's dad is like talking to her about this. Like he's assuming that it's about like his relationships, but like what he's the divorce from his first wife, Juno's mom, is like having this lasting impact on her, you know. And he's like, well, listen, Brenda and I have been together for 10 years, and there's like some good days, some bad days, but we're very happy and all that. And then when he's like, you need to like when you find someone that like you need to find someone that loves you for like
The good, the bad,
the
the
good,
ugly.
like that loves you despite your worst aspects, you know.
Yeah.
And Polly's so good at that.
Yeah.
Polly's so good. Dreamboat Polly.
Yeah. Because she's like, you haven't looked at, what's happening to me. You look me in the eyes. You see my face. And, like,
Yeah.
like how important that was for her, for sure. And even just to go back a little bit, you were talking about, like, the scene where Juno's stuck between the Lorings or whatever. I think that scene is so brilliantly written because we see what is the cringiest and disturbing part of the whole movie, which is, like,
The relationship between Mark and Juno.
yeah, it's gross. And it's like, I mean, Luke was up walking around like, no, I can't. And I was like, fuck, I can't watch. I was
When
like,
it was specifically when they started dancing.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
Mark was talking about his prom.
Yeah.
And they started like getting close and dancing, and she's like putting her head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot
No.
handle this.
Not at all. But it gets to the point where Vanessa's there, and Jason Bateman is an incredible actor.
Jason Bateman's great in this too. I mean, Jason, yeah.
His that dialogue is so avoidant, and they're like not even hitting certain things that like happened. Like, Juno just had like this ultimately traumatic thing happen like minutes before, and it's not brought up, but the audience is aware of what happened.
Yeah.
And the dialogue is so avoidant that it's like, why? What? There's so much more to be said, and it's like, and then Juno just gets in the car, and it's like panic, and you feel the panic, and like it's just that's why it works really well, and it's so good.
Yeah. Because we know that there's like so much that hasn't been said.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Man.
So, what are some of your lasting thoughts?
Lasting thoughts. I really like a lot of like the visual motifs that are happening in the movie, like with the track boys like constantly running around. I really
almost like a flock of birds.
Yeah, like a flock of birds.
Yeah.
I really liked just the support system that Juno had was excellent. Like her best friend who like doesn't abandon her for anything.
Yeah.
Like has her fucking back, like is going with her to the ultrasounds and all the doctor's appointments and is at the hospital. The one thing that I found unrealistic with this film is when her best friend is watching Juno push a child out of her, and she's like all like smiley and like wow, and I'm like, you would be mortified right now. Like you can't tell me seeing your like your fucking best friend's pussy getting ripped open and like shit coming out, like that you would be like all wow, the miracle of childbirth. No, I disagree.
You disagree? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man, this was just such an endearing movie. I told Luke I'm not a fan of the type of music that played in this.
Which I think is our biggest disagreement with this movie.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think it fits perfectly.
No, I think it fits. I'm just not the biggest fan of
Sure.
the the like loose guitar and loose voice type of like.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to describe it as. How would you describe that type of music?
It's like melancholy campfire in the fall in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
That's like what it is.
I think it's the melancholicness of it that I'm like, I don't really get behind it, but that's like really my only gripe. I had zero expectations going into this movie because we both hadn't seen this.
Yeah, I knew it was supposed to be a very good film. Like I did know that people liked it a lot.
I had
but
no idea.
I wasn't sure if people really liked it because it was like a kitschy cult classic or because it was like stellar all around. And it was stellar,
It's just
all
stellar
around.
all around,
Like,
yeah.
It honestly might be one of my. It's easily in my top 5 films that we've watched thus far for the
sure.
podcast.
For
Easily.
sure,
Like
yeah.
maybe top 3,
Yeah,
top 2. Honestly,
I agree with that. I really do.
Yeah.
And the whole reason it even came up was because after we did Nacho Libre, one of my family members reached out and was like, "You should either check out Juno or Napoleon Dynamite." And I know we had talked about Napoleon Dynamite a little bit, so I was like, "Let me put Juno on the poll." And it's just I love that this like beautiful film kind of fell in our laps like that. I mean, people voted for it, sure, but it did. It just like fell in our laps, and I'm really looking out. Thank you, Taylor, for that. Yeah. How are we rating this?
Do you want me to start?
Whatever you want to do, man.
I'm going to give Juno a 9.2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juno
is really good.
Yeah.
I feel like a 9.2 is almost a disservice to this film, but I'm giving it a 9.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9.1. And literally the point is just because of I'm not personally the biggest fan of the music. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it just would have been perfect if there was like a different style of music, but I think ultimately it works as a collective.
Definitely.
Like build it. Beef score.
Beef score? This is oh man. This feels like I'm imagining like Mac grilling up some real good, like a ribeye on the grill.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't cook a lot, but he's like a grill master. Mm-hmm. Or he like cooks like real good steak in the kitchen, like basting the steak with butter. He's got like everything going on. He's got like a special butter rub that he uses, and it's just, and you only get it like, it's only like the first weekend of July that he does it.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like real good, and Brenda's got this real fucking good like potato salad and like a bunch of shit going on. Yeah, I'll give it that. I'll give it like a wholesome family and friends ribeye.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the kind of like summer like almost block party vibe or like family gathering vibe that like you always remember from childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the realm of like what I used to have growing up was like this it was like mashed potatoes with like chunks of beef and like noodles. It was just the easiest thing to make in my household.
Very casserole vibes.
Yeah. And that's what I want to give it, just because like that's just like homey to me, and like warm and lovely.
Yeah.
But also not like fancy in any way. It's just like it is what it is, and you love it.
Awesome. Confirmed. Juno's a good movie.
Juno is a great movie.
Watch it
if you haven't seen it. You
you
need to watch it, please.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me pull up. Say something else while I get everything ready.
Hey, my name's Luke. I am obligated to say something else as we transition to the closing remarks of this episode. If you guys are not on the Patreon, which I know some of you aren't, please consider joining.
Most of you aren't. What are you talking about?
It really means a lot to us to have some additional support with this.
We want bigger stickers.
It would be wonderful. So if you guys are feeling generous, if you're liking the podcast, if you want to get some more exclusive content and have a little bit more control over exactly what we watch, please consider joining the Patreon. We do have the starting membership at $3.99 a month, and there are some additional options if you want to be even more giving to the channel.
Yeah, literally, and just to go in more in depth of what Luke is saying, we're just gonna add different tiers. Nothing changes within what we're doing. Like, you're still gonna have the same voting power. You're gonna have the same early release dates. You're still gonna have the same access to The Last of Us. All that stuff is the same. It's literally just, if you want to donate more, we're giving you the option to donate more per month. Starts at $4, and then we'll have an 8 and a 12.
There it is.
Yeah. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Bucket of Beef Show. And that's pretty much that. We'll go into the Patreon.
Yeah, shout out to our wonderful patrons.
That's Amanda.
We got Amanda.
Jenny.
We got Jason.
Victor.
Julia.
Dwight.
Adam.
Julia L.
Brittany.
Dana.
Olga.
Rick.
Nicole.
Nikita.
And Nicholas. Shout out to all the beautiful patrons out there. We'd love for more people to join the flock, to hop in that bucket of beef.
You know the drill. We'll see you on the 15th episode. Stay slimy, stay greasy.
My name is Luke Hodson.
My name is Alex Morrison.
We'll see you on the beef side.
Hit him with the outro. Ending of the pod.
He's a liar. He's a liar.
Beef.
Bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the bucket.
Bottom of the bucket.
Yeah.
Beef.
Seasoned to perfection.
Divine.
Too wet.
Beef.
It's a masterpiece, baby.